right. Now I'm recording.
Good job.
Miss Tony Palmer, glad to have you. Could you introduce yourself?
My name is Tony Palmer. I work at the Kentucky Career Center in Bowling Green. I'm their career team navigator.
Okay. And we have a couple more that just joined. Matt. Matt? Oh, we can't hear you if you're talking.
What was the question, Brian?
Okay. What is your name and what cereal did you eat for breakfast this morning?
My name is Matt Bacon, and I had a high stress cereal this morning of a couple fun size Snickers bars so far.
All right. I'm guessing you didn't eat those in milk in a bowl with a spoon.
No,
Okay. Let's see if I made it all the way. Oh, Amanda, if you introduce yourself.
Amanda Pettigo, and I had a mini payday for breakfast.
Oh,
Man, it
wow.
looks like it looks like, we're on the same lines there.
Okay, did I miss anybody online? I think I've scrolled through. I can see everybody's name, so we'll go around the room. starting
Amy
with-
put something in the chat
Oh,
if you want to
Amy.
read that.
Okay. That is Amy from Butler County Adult Ed. Okay, thank you, Amy. She's on the road. All right, we'll tell Willie Nelson we said hi. Let me move the camera here. And
Amy settles. I don't think she's. No, I think she's family owned.
not me. Swivel, go the other way.
Hey, Amy Settles here, career team. I'm the program coordinator. Hey, everyone.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this little thing has a mind of its own. Jessica, would you just take this thing and pass it?
Jessica Calvert with South Central Workforce Development Board.
Frank Carabato, OSO.
Bianca Wilson, Business Service Representative for Career Team.
Jake Brown, Business Service Representative for Career Team.
Shannon Gottke, Partnership Ambassador for Career Team.
Leslie Whitty, I'm the Vice President of Communication and Outreach for the South Central Workforce Development Board.
Chad Spencer, Director of Career Services with Goodwill Industries of Kentucky.
Good morning, Ana San Cristobal, New American Workforce Navigator for South Central Workforce Board.
All right, John Swords, Workforce Board, Secret Shopper.
And then we'll keep getting people admitted. All right. Heath, introduce yourself real quick.
Hey, good morning. My name is Heath Ray from Community Action Refugee Employment Services.
And then we have Rob. You can unmute and introduce yourself, say hi real quick. No, okay. I think that's everybody from the list I'm seeing right now, but more people. We are going to jump in with breaking news. So who has announcements, updates, things they want to share to this group right now?
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
October 12th, we're having our expo, but with that expo, we're having our expungement clinic on site. Expungement clinic here at the Bowling Green Opportunity Center, 1806 US 31W bypass. That flyer will go out today. We have 33 spots left. So if you have clients, participants who may benefit from having their records expunged, it is a free service. We will have Department of Corrections on the line. I recommend that everyone sign up early so that we can get your record and we can get everything needed for the lawyers before the event. And then you'll just walk in and it'll be a seamless, well-oiled machine. But again, that is October the 12th at the on-site Opportunity Center here in Bowling Green. Thank you, Brian.
Fantastic. And whoever, where was the mic that was traveling earlier? We've gone ahead. Okay, so you'll give that part that way to the camera.
Great. I got a flyer from John Riley at the Career Center just before I left, and I'll send this out to the partners. It's a grilling and chilling free cookout in honor of all our veterans. It's going to be held at the veterans and their immediate families. It's going to be held at the parking lot in front of the VA clinic at Fairview Plaza on September the 14th from 12 to 3. Live entertainment, prizes. Again, it's free for all our veterans. And it's on September the 14th from 12 to 3, and I'll send the flyer out to all the partners this afternoon. Thanks. American Legion.
So I wanted to announce our next Talent Tuesday event. It'll be happening on September 20th at Bowling Park in Metcalfe County and at Edmonton. So I don't know if we shared this flyer with you, Frank, but we'll get that flyer out to everybody. It's up on the screen, as you can see. So again, if you have any people that you know of that are in need of a job out in that way, please send them our way, 10 to 2, September 20th.
Anybody want to say anything that's joining remotely?
Yeah. Hey, Brian, I've got an announcement. Dr. Myers asked me to let everyone know that SkyCTC has recently launched Handshake. It's a national program, and so colleges across the U.S. Partner with Handshake and use that as a way to connect students and alumni with local employment. So that program has recently launched. We've already sent out some invitations to local employers to let them know about Handshake and to let them know how to get connected with that, to post their jobs and to be able to connect with SkyCTC students and alumni. But if you all know any employers that you think would be interested in joining Handshake through us, they can email SkyCTC Workforce at kctcs.edu, and then we'll just need the company's name and a contact person for that company. So I'll put that information in the chat. But we're very excited to be able to help connect local companies with students who are seeking employment, either current students or alumni from SkyCTC.
And that's our checklist of things offered. Any cost? I think you might have mentioned, but maybe if I didn't catch it, is it a free service or is it cost employers to get into that?
Nope, it's completely free.
All right. Great. Anyone else?
So this is Matt. I didn't hear Frank announcement, but we will also there will be an open interview kind of job fair at Holly on September the 8th. And we will have some staff on hand to assist with pre-screening and checking people in. But on the tail end, we'll be tracking the results so we can identify the people that went unhired and try to move them on to either training or other employment options as well. For the heavy equipment operations pathway that you hear about once a month, that started at the Warren County ATC. The inaugural class is a size of 24. And we went out yesterday and set up all 4 of the simulators. So those are up and running. And we just look forward to getting those students through to well-paying employment, and also starting with SkyCTC to start getting adults in there as well.
The words of Marty McFly. That's heavy, Doc. All right, Chad, what do you want to say? Get something else?
Yeah, did he say that it's open to adults now, or it's gonna be open to adults?
To be open to adults. I think what our plan is so far, and we still have to iron it out with Dr. Myers, is as when those layoffs come for the winter months, the cold months that they're not working, trying to upskill some laborers. And that would be the time to get them in there is over the winter months. It will be separate from the the high school students. So we haven't figured out what the alternate schedule will be yet, whether it's on weekends or at nighttime.
Excellent.
Great.
We've got a few more meetings with Sky CPC to work out.
Okay.
That's good to hear they had a healthy start of the K-12 cohort. All right.
And I think Laura had her hand up earlier, maybe.
Oh, okay, yes. Laura, go
Yes, I
ahead.
did. Brian, are you ignoring me?
No, I'm like, I don't have like a chameleon eye to like look at your wall to see where you guys are at.
I'm just teasing everyone. Like I said, my name is Laura Torres. I am the program manager for Commonwealth Quarters, and I am actively recruiting students for our spring cohort, which begins January 2023. But I'm starting to recruit now. If you know any adult 18 and older that would benefit from this great online web development course that we offer, please send them my way or reach out directly to me and I will follow up with that potential student. The web development course teaches basics in Python, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, basically to be able to build a web page. We also help with resume building, LinkedIn profiles, communication skills, teamwork skills. We use Kentucky Career Edge to also be able to prepare the students for the workforce. And we work with the Career Center advisors to help place them in potential job opportunities once they are done. It's 16 weeks and it's all done online Monday through Friday. If you all like any more information, please contact me directly. I'd be more than happy to discuss that with you. Thank you.
All right. Good pitch, Laura. I'm sold. Where do I sign up? Okay. Just friendly reminder, as always, if you are not already connected to us, you can go to the southcentralworkforce.com webpage, click on the partners tab, and then you will click on the I'm interested short form that you'll complete, and that'll get you on Mr. Frank's distribution list and keep sending announcements to him. And I'll just do another friendly reminder that it's easier to have Frank be the person sending it. I know it's tempting to reply all or to send something out to everybody, but I think what's easier is if you ever have a doubt about an announcement that you missed, you can search your inbox by Frank rather than by what was the name of that message. So that helps it keep consistent for you and for everybody else that it comes through that way. So if you have something, send it to Frank. He'll be sure to share it like he already has this morning on those job fairs going on. So thank you, Frank. All right, any needs? Anybody have a question or anything before we jump into the topic? Need to get pointed in a direction? Need to know where the cheapest gas is.
Brian, I have a question. So
Yes.
last month, there was that Excel spreadsheet of employers, and I sent my email somewhere. I have not received that yet. Do you?
Okay, you were off my radar. I need to get you added. This is it on the screen right now. So
Yes.
yeah, we're trying
Perfect.
to continue to track. This is an older screen grab. But yeah, we're trying to keep up with that kind of meaty information that's thicker than what's on a job flyer. So I'll call Heath out because I like to tease Heath, but I was on it yesterday and I saw his little Google thing, was there. So sometimes there's like an anonymous raccoon or an anonymous antelope or something that gets on there. And I don't know who you are, but yeah, if you want access to at least see and be able to search, I can go over this and give a review for you. So I was going to ask, I like to put it on for these partner team meetings because this is definitely a community tool to be shared with people like in your role, not the public, right? We're not trying to make this forward facing for job seekers to see and sort through. We want this to be where you can have something at your fingertips and sort through it. So if you want that, put your name in the comments and in your email. So if you'll go ahead and do that, Bethany, then I'll remind me to share the access with you.
Thank you. And the other thing is can we get a list of attendees for today's meeting at some point?
Sure. Yeah. You can do that.
Thank you.
We have 2 Amy's iPhones, so I think I'm gonna remember that more than you think. No. Okay, so today we do have, as we mentioned, Bethany and Michelle from Retain Kentucky. I will let you guys take over the screen to, oh, and Pamela, I see your comment. I'll let you guys take over the screen here. So I'm gonna stop sharing and let you guys pull your presentation up. All right, you guys are good to go.
Well, oh, Michelle, are you gonna pull it up?
Yeah, yes, I'm having technical difficulty. Hold on. Uh-oh. There we go. Screen two.
Oh, you got, okay.
Oh,
Okay, thank you. Oh, there you go. Is that better? There you go.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. As Michelle gets the PowerPoint
there we go.
going. Perfect. Well, again, my name is Bethany Curry, and I'm a senior return to work coordinator with Retain Kentucky. And today we're going to talk to you about Retain Kentucky. It is a grant through the Department of Labor and the Social Security Administration, and we are implemented. The funding is implemented through the University of Kentucky Human Development Institute. But today we're going to talk about Retain Kentucky services and eligibility criteria, how you can refer people to Retain Kentucky, and learn how an inclusive job description can promote stay at work and return to work success. So if you have any questions, just throw them in the chat. And or wait until the end of our presentation and we will gladly answer any questions that you may have. So again, I'm Bethany Curry, Senior Return to Work Coordinator. I have been with the program since the very beginning in its conception 3 years ago. And I will let Michelle introduce herself in a minute, but my background is as an occupational therapist. I worked in hand therapy, doing FCEs and upper extremity rehab for many years. And so I have extensive knowledge in FCEs and musculoskeletal injuries. So Michelle, do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Yes, so I'm Michelle Lauer, and I am the senior job analyst. I have worked for a Fortune 5 company in human resources and as a occupational safety person for over 15 years. And then I worked at the University of Kentucky in the injury illness analyst position. And then I came over to the Human Development Institute with University of Kentucky about a year ago, first as a return to work coordinator and now in our analyst role. So we are led by the Department of Workforce Investment, and where we sit at the University of Kentucky, the Human Development Institute, we implement the research study along with the Council of State Governments as our partner. We are a research study working with employees, their employers, workforce professionals, and healthcare providers to enhance the success of all parties in the return to work process through the implementation of stay at work and return to work strategies. Our focus is on providing immediate support and assisting maximizing the likelihood of workers staying at or returning to work. So currently, we are seeking 3,200 participants for our Retain program who will be enrolled in this study that will examine how early focused return to work coordination impacts recovery and the likelihood of remaining employed. We are also focused on the capacity building with our Universal Design Certificate, as well as our Return to Work Certificate that will soon be available. Our IWHLN, which stands for Inclusive Worker Health Leadership Network, is led by Johnny Collette, and we meet with employer and healthcare leaders to look at what we are doing in Kentucky that is working and what we need to recommend for improvements to the governor to promote an inclusive workforce. So to be eligible for the program Retain Kentucky, you must be a resident of Kentucky and over the age of 18. You must be currently employed or have worked in the last 12 months and have a non-work related injury or illness that could prevent you from performing your job. You cannot have applied or are currently receiving SSDI. And the diagnosis could be, from a physical, mental, substance use. It could be COVID related. Our program also addresses stay at work. So if an employee is currently working but struggling, Retain can help. And Retain services can also be extended to a family member who is ill or injured, allowing the employee to focus to staying at work. So our referral process is easy. We do have a 859 number and our retain@uky.edu email. We also do have a website, www.kyretain.org. And then we have a QR code, and this is a participant screener that's going to take them through our questions. And we'll send you to this, the eligibility requirements and how to refer in a brochure electronically after our presentation today. So our process is collaborative, wherein we work with the participant, and that's what we call people who are enrolled in our program, to identify their stay at work, return to work goals, and steps to achieve those goals. Our plan can be used by an OVR counselor to develop the IPE when we refer participants over to OVR. For example, since we work with individuals with injury and illness that may have other concerns that need to be addressed right away before they plan on returning to work, social determinants like help with transportation, rent, food, or utilities. And Bethany?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about some of the social determinants that we can help. So we help our participants to connect them to community resources that can identify some of these barriers that are preventing them to be successful at work. So return to work barriers may be outside the workplace, such as transportation. The return to work coordinators can assist identifying the barriers to help connect partners or participants with options to resolve these barriers and successfully achieve work goals. Again, we help them to connect participants with community resources and community agencies, such as transportation supports. And some of these can include door-to-door transit based on medical needs, by supporting the participant and applying for those services, and including and helping to coordinate with their physician on medical documentation that might be needed for the application. And we also can assist participants in resolving other barriers such as food insecurity, childcare, so they can successfully return to work in a sustainable manner. Michelle, are you?
Yes. Oh, yes, sorry. My presenter mode's not working, so I have to toggle the two here. So we can assist participants in employment support, but if they were receiving support from somebody from OVR or another program, we will not interrupt what's already working, and we will help provide support where they need it, like those social determinants Bethany was just talking about, or getting clarification on medical information. I myself, as the senior job analyst, I can support the participant or the employer with job accommodations or modifications, also with virtual job coaching and coming in and taking a look at people's functional job descriptions and helping them with the analysis of the roles or the jobs that they do have. And Bethany?
Yeah, so as a senior return to work coordinator, we can assist participants in employment support, but if they're receiving this support from you or community resource provider, we will not interrupt those services, what is already working, but we can help to provide support where they need it, and like social determinants or getting clarification on medical information. I also, as a senior return to work coordinator, if they work with participants who have worked within the last 12 months, but are not currently working to find a different job with a different employer. And so that can look like helping them update their resume, job seeking skills, helping them with networking and identifying transferable skills analysis to successfully transition them into the next career choice that they have. We also have return to work coordinators who help those with who are currently working, who will like to remain at their job to help them navigate between their employer, their healthcare provider, and themselves to look at possible accommodations or help with their short-term disability or alternative work tasks to help them stay at work. So as the return to work coordinator, we secure medical records from the healthcare provider to determine the employee's current capabilities to be able to work. We provide connection for mental health services and support to schedule counseling for long-term needs. We coordinate peer mentoring services and support on our team. We do have someone that serves as our peer mentor. He has had a disability and is working for over 30 years. He is a great person to just have someone talk to that's kind of been there, done that, and knows what these participants might be going through. If the employee has many different medical providers, we retain releases for all the providers to streamline communication among all of the parties. So we kind of help coordinate communication between them. We have worked with Wheels vouchers in the past to help get passes for employees so that they could participate in the Goodwill Rise program, so they can get those services through Goodwill. We've obtained medical equipment such as a walker or wheelchairs and housing vouchers for employees, so they are able to remain in their home and have the medical equipment that they possibly could use to help them to be able to return to work. We've also assisted in identification of housing with a first floor option and avoid using steps to access their home. So those are just some of the examples of things that we have done with participants that we've served currently or in the past for them to be successful. So next on the slide, you will see it's what return to work plan. And this return to work plan just kind of shows you what the steps we take to work with our participants. So we have their strengths and their support needs. We come up with solutions to support needs, like what community referrals we need to make, what steps we need to take to help them with their support needs. And then we have a plan of action and a completion date of those as well. And then the next slide is for a continuation of the return to work plan. And it has the action steps and then all the steps completed. And this can be sent out to those who are interested in knowing what we are working with the participants, such as a medical provider, their voc rehab counselor, a therapist, and different parties. Michelle?
Thanks, Bethany. So now I'm going to talk about functional job descriptions and how we can use those to promote an inclusive workplace. So when we meet with employers and are asking for a job description for someone who's a participant and retain, many times they're sending us just what they're going to put on Indeed or out there in the field. This is the type of item that they're sent to medical professionals. And how do we develop those to make them more inclusive? So I'm going to take a few minutes to pull back that curtain and focus on the bones behind the job description and how to make that more inclusive. So going beyond just a description of what we're looking for, or what type of qualifications we need somebody, but also having demands of a job. And we'll take an actual look at one of these a little bit later in my presentation. But currently, most job demands for a position is just those physical ones. So grasping, kneeling, walking. But by adding in also psychological and cognitive demands can increase your inclusivity. So for like such psychological demands, this is when we determine whether any aspect of job might be a hazard to a worker's health or their well-being. Is this work monotonous? Is there going to be long periods of concentration? Is the work strenuous? Can it affect them from a mental health perspective? For instance, someone working at a chicken processing plant or who does counseling. And then by adding in cognitive demands, this will include the ability of how someone learns and processes and applies knowledge, their skills associated with perception and memory and judgment. So this will be the planning of tasks, memory, executive functioning, any of those prioritizations type to the job. And these demands not only looking at that physical a medical professional can look at, but they can also look at those psychological and cognitive. And if someone's had a stroke and they have difficulty with memory, what type of accommodation would this person potentially need as an employee to be successful at the role and where we're placing them at? So how we get to this point is going to do a process called a functional job analysis. And this is one of the items that I do. And it typically begins with connecting with a human resources person. So I'm speaking to them about the process. Some people already have a functional job description that includes job demands. Some people have not updated theirs since before COVID. So these are the types of things we want to assist people with developing, or go back and assist them with if they need to do any rewriting of them. And I asked them to put me with a person who's going to be the supervisor of the position that we're going to look at, because we want to look at positions, we're not looking at people. So once I get my tour guide, it's best to sit down and talk about what are the essential functions of this role. What functions need to be done for this position to even exist, and then go out to the work area and check that physical environment and any type of equipment that they're using, get it reviewed and measured and documented. Next would be the observation of the actual work task being completed and observed, and then interviewing with that employee for any clarification or additional information. So I take that information back and turn what I found out from my job analysis into a functional job description. And this can be used by medical professionals or supervision or HR at an employer. They can use that for that more inclusive job description by focusing on essential tasks and environmental working conditions, And then the medical professional can use that to make a better judgment about someone's stay at work or return to work process. So the EEOC defines essential functions are the basic job duties that an employee must be able to perform with or without a reasonable accommodations. So while employees might do some other duties as assigned, the essential functions of the jobs are those that would cause harm to the business or organization if they're not performed. And the stay at work or return to work process is beneficial to ensure the focus is on the essential functions of the job. I brought up environmental working conditions. And this is another way of items that we can add to this functional job description, make it more inclusive. And these are going to be a set of factors within the environment where the work is conducted. This can affect an employee's capacity to execute duties and tasks on the job. So for instance, we have lighting. Someone who has seizures and the flashing lights cause them. Somebody with hearing loss may need an environment that has minimal noise. And sometimes in thermal conditions, if there's extreme heat, that can affect one's ability to work if they have multiple sclerosis or another type of illness. You know, what about a bakery position and a person may have a food allergies such as peanuts? These environmental working conditions are important so the worker can make an informed decision, and the recruitment process and healthcare providers can also use this to assist workers in their stay at work, return to work goals. So can anybody think of a environmental working factor that might impact someone with a disability in the workplace? You can put it in the chat if you do. So you might have a person that has anxiety. They may prefer a position that avoids dealing with individuals who have complaints about, you know, companies or the products and services. Yes, poor air quality. You know, like someone with asthma, they may not be able to work in a like a rubber mold type factory. Okay, thank you. So when it comes to return to work at a temporary mental or a physical capacities, they might prevent your employees from returning to the regular job after the injury illness. However, it may be possible for them to return to work in a different capacity in a productive position, such as in some transitional work duties while still recovering. Research shows the sooner your employee returns to work, the more likely they'll preserve future income and health. Studies show if an employee does not return to work in 12 months, the likelihood of them returning to work successfully and work more than 6 months reduces dramatically. And healthcare providers will need to know what their essential functions are and the demands of those functions. And this is the benefit of having a job analysis being conducted to develop your functional job description. And let's take a look at one. So recently I did one for a custodial group, and this is one of the essential tasks that they were doing, which was cleaning of restrooms. And so here in the center column, we have our essential task elements. And we'll take a look at this top one here, utilize custodial equipment with cleaning equipment on it. And it has a push-pull force of 15 pounds. And then we'll take a little focus here on the bottom. Removal of trash, less than 35 pounds, and sweep and mop floors, less than 28 pounds. And then here on the last column is all the equipment they would use when they're cleaning the restroom. So this is just a little snippet from a job demand sheet. And this one has to do with the physical job demands. So here we have the restroom. So that's one of their essential functions. And we look at these lift demand carries. And I have my little chart here at the top. And this is an I, so infrequent. So it's looking at 2 to 20 times a day, less than 28 pounds. That's where someone is picking up that mop bucket and putting it onto their custodial cart and taking it off to pour out the water at the end of the day. Next, we have that waist and chest lift. Again, infrequent. This is the removal of the trash. And then our push-pull is going to be into the frequent column because they're going to be pushing around this cart the majority of the day. And that's our 15-pound push-pull force. So this type of a job demand is important to someone who's a trained physician, occupational therapist, physical therapist. Often when medical professionals inquire about what someone's essential job functions, there's a difference in the description, especially when there isn't any documentation. One person might focus on the most strenuous task that's only done once a year, and that's what they're telling the doctor that they do. And someone else may be wanting to return back to work, maybe even too early, and talking just about easy tasks because there is no documentation, and they could go back to work and become re-injured. So when this occurs, your description may be accurate. So in this case, this is an importance of having these functional job descriptions through the analysis. Now, the next slide here I have, this is just a little snippet from an HR manager functional job analysis I did. That's going to include these cognitive and psychosocial here. And so to make these more inclusive is we need to evaluate more than just those physical and add these types of items in. And so first, here we have our little key here at the bottom, just how much interaction somebody has, what's their work instructions, do they supervise, and the types of getting into these tasks. So, for instance, someone who's a first responder, they might have a high level of psychological stress with their job role. People with cognitive demands on the job, and they're dealing with brain fog from COVID. So it's necessary for the physician to know how to assist them with their stay at work, return to work goals. And also if someone needs an accommodation, this is the type of information people need to know to help make these decisions and get the correct accommodation that's going to work so people are successful. And that's the end of our presentation today. Thank you for joining Bethany and I and letting you know more about our Retain program. And let's see, anybody have any questions?
Also on the last slide here is how you can contact us. So it has both mine and Michelle's email address as well.
All right, thank you guys. Let me pull up my screen here. Sorry, Brian had to leave for an appointment, so I am taking over here. All right. I'm trying to make it big, slideshow. All right. I don't know why it's not becoming big, but can everyone see the slide? Upcoming meeting topics. Okay. All right. One question, you'll notice on the month of October, we have some question marks. One question that we wanted to ask the group is, for the month of October, lots of us will be out for fall break. Would we want to skip October and resume in November? So if I could see, I guess I'll ask, how many would like to skip October?
Raise your hands.
A show of hands. I don't see anybody on the screen. Does anyone want to skip October?
There's a hand there.
Okay, we got one hand. Anyone else? It's fall break.
All right, we've got a couple more hands.
Okay, people in this room, would you all like to skip October and resume in November?
Kids.
I don't know if I'll be here or not, just yet.
Okay.
Frank said he wants.
Okay, I'm going to make an executive decision and say we will skip October. I think that due to fall break, attendance may be difficult for many, and we will resume in November. So we'll get that information out on our website as well, that we will resume on November 3rd. All right. Do we have any volunteers as far as presenting for November?
I'll get you a volunteer.
Okay.
Commonwealth Coders will present in November if it's okay.
Commonwealth Coders. All right, we've got Commonwealth Coders in November.
Woo! Commonwealth
right.
Coders.
Wait a minute now.
Oh, wait a minute. So
It's November. It's bringing some folks to talk about veterans.
Oh, okay.
Support the veterans in the community.
Okay, all right. Laura, you've been overruled. We'll get you the next month.
What?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. John mentioned November. That'll be a great opportunity to talk about veterans. So John is in charge of our November community partner team meeting.
About time I got it first.
That's right. That's right. It is about time. All right. Does anyone have any ending questions, comments, thoughts, anything you'd like to share before we dismiss?
Keep a lookout for number 6 on Kentucky's football team this weekend. He's my nephew and he's gonna have a great game.
All right.
Yay.
Awesome.
Oh, you said that while wearing LSU colors. Go Tigers.
I thought we were friends.
It's football season.
All right, we're about to have a little tussle here in the boardroom.
So number 6.
Number 6. Dane Cheatham.
Well,
All right.
key.
Was it Chad that was talking about the expungement fairs?
Yes, October the 12th on site at the Opportunity Center.
Do you have like a flyer or something made up, Chad?
Yes, Frank is gonna send that out this afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All
Can I
right.
just add real quick? I just wanted to remind everybody, so the Senior Community Service Employment Program, of course, we are always open to having participants come in the program, but I wanted to remind everybody that in order to make the program even possible, we have to have host agencies. And probably everybody in this meeting, or close to everybody, if you're a nonprofit, 501c3, government organization of any sort, we can place our participants at your organization to work 20 hours a week at no cost to you. And that's basically the backbone of the whole program, because if we don't have anywhere to place our participants, then that defeats the whole purpose. So I just wanted to remind everybody that, you know, if you're short-staffed and you could use some help in your office or at your organization in some manner, please reach out to me and we can talk about what the options are to have somebody come and work 20 hours a week. And again, that's at no cost to you or the organization. And we also provide workman's comp if anybody were to get injured. And it's just it's a real win-win for everybody. Thank you.
Excellent point. And that was Pamela Pittman.
Yes, ma'am.
speaking. Very good program. Any other comments before we close? All right, I will end by saying happy fall, y'all. We will see you in November. Thanks again for spending your morning with us. Very informative. Thank you to Retain Kentucky for all the excellent information. All right, have a good rest of the day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Look at this, 06.